Hello from Windsor. I am currently here for a week, Exeter next week, Canada after that, and then I'm not sure. And today I wanted to talk about confusion and fantasy and projection in our love stories. And I'm just sitting here writing some notes about what I wanted to talk about, and I realized that the patterns that I'm talking about, they stem from our early days, from seeing our parents interact with each other and seeing, the media, Hollywood, love stories, all that kind of thing. So, don't take any personal blame for playing out these patterns. They are far bigger and deeper than an individual. But this is stuff I want to talk about, is stuff I've noticed in myself as a young girl, as a teenager, as a young adult, and I notice it in a lot of my clients and people coming forward and explaining their love stories to me. So I'm in a really privileged position doing the heart retrieval stuff because I hear people's almost like chronological relationship and love history. And I'm very grateful to have that privilege, and it brings in a lot of insight, and you start really noticing bigger patterns playing out, not just in one or two people, but out there in the world. So the theme being confusion is that we play strange games with our minds and our perspectives around love. And one of the ones I've experienced several times, and I've done as well, this is what made me think that this was back to when I was like 12 and you fancy someone at school and you just like obsess about them. It's kind of that, but when you bring it into the adult world, it's uncomfortable. So the first one is when you project an ideal onto somebody. So you like someone or you're interested in someone. And I suppose this could go for people you haven't even met yet. So you're fantasizing, and not necessarily creating a real co-created reality with anyone. So when you project an ideal, say you've just met someone and you're like, oh my God, this is the person, they're the ideal man or woman for me. They're the goddess, like they're my twin flame and my soulmate and all this stuff. That to me is not real, because, or at least entertain with yourself, like, okay, this isn't really real, but I'm fantasizing about someone. But when you project onto someone an ideal or like put them on a pedestal, you're making that up. You don't even know the person. You haven't had a conversation with them maybe, or you've had one, but you don't really know them. You don't know their essence. You don't know their energy fully. And yes, there are dramatic moments when we meet, people that we're supposed to be in touch with, or people that we will be in love with. There is obviously chemistry and a spark and interest, but often there's an unhealthy slant towards projecting. And that's what leads to disappointment and high expectations, or even trying to squeeze someone into the mold of this ideal. So that is one of the uncomfortable confusions that I was going to bring up. And it has happened to me where someone decided they really liked me, and clearly I knew nothing about them, and they knew nothing about me, not really. They'd maybe read some of my stuff or, that kind of thing. But actually, the way they saw me was this like fantastical thing, and he decided he was in love with me, and it was like, that isn't love. I'm sorry. It felt very icky and kind of creepy and not very nice. So yeah, and I think to have a relationship or to be in love, it has to be something mutual and in between two people. It has to be a conversation. A fantasy does not equate to a relationship. So, and as well, when you do that, when you fantasize about someone or send them a lot of energy, you're wasting a lot of energy. That energy isn't with you. You're using a lot of mental, emotional, like visual energy on someone that isn't necessarily giving anything back. So that doesn't seem like a balanced state of affairs. And I think that there's a lot of focus on finding this one true love or the soulmate, spirit mate. And I think that's beautiful because, you know, when you do meet them, it's amazing and it makes you feel full and whole and met and all of that. But in between, you could drive yourself crazy looking for them. You know, you walk in a room and you're always aware. I've done that. I did that for a while. You know, after years of celibacy, I was just like, where is he? And you know, you're like walking into a room and looking for them, and that's not how you're gonna meet them, I don't think. You know, and I just feel like I wished I hadn't spent all that time looking or waiting or, you know, that kind of fantasizing, because it isn't real. It's a waste of your time and energy. So I think what I'm saying is keep it real and create actual relationships or conversations with people, and not pretend that you've found the one or that you really like someone before you've even met them, and that your energies of, you know, you've shared conversation and energy and values and so on. So there's a little bit of confusion in love. Another interesting factor that comes into play here with projecting and fantasizing is that it's actually a form of energy attack. So I did this quite amazing exercise with a woman, I can't remember her name, and it was about 10 years ago. But she made us all sit in pairs it was like a workshop. And she made us sit in pairs and cross-legged, and we were man and woman as well. And we were to choose to be silent, but look and project energy towards your partner. And one of the things you had to choose was be attracted to, you know, be in love, fancy them, like them, send your energy to them. And then the other one to choose was, I hate you, you're horrible, you know, I don't, get away from me, like hate. So love and hate. Projected at someone. And then the third option was just to sit quiet. So we did the sit quiet and just be in your own energy, you know, have a strong sense of self and just be with the other and just see what arises there. So we did that all at the same time. But the two choices we could choose which one we were going to do, love or hate. And so it was done silently and attempted to not have facial expressions. So, and then we would all feed back at the end of doing those three. So did the love thing at each other. I think, I can't remember in what order, who did what. But I know that when he was sending love energy towards me, I was like, oh, it like felt really creepy and heavy and uncomfortable. And when he did the hate energy, and I didn't really know which one was which, it was also heavy and uncomfortable and like at me. But there was a real beauty when we did the just being in front of each other. So at the end, we realized that even if you don't know if it's love or hate, you're still projecting a lot of energy towards someone uninvited, and it's not comfortable and it's not pleasant. So being on the receiving end of projections and fantasy is actually a bit like an energy attack, and is often unwelcome and unwanted because it's not really based in reality or in a shared space of being comfortable with yourself and with someone else comfortable with themselves. So I hope that was always interesting to me, because I realized that I'd probably wasted a lot of my time, you know, going like, oh, I really like this person or something like that. So that was one of the things I wanted to bring up, was just be aware of how you're using your energy, time, and brain space when it comes to dealing with love and relationships. Another thing about projection and fantasy is that sometimes I think it's based on looking for a savior. So you're looking for someone to save you, or to remove the sensations of longing, or to fill, so this isn't everyone, but you know, it's like you're looking for someone to hold you, to save you, to entertain you, to look after you, to blah, 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 all those kind of things. And, you know, my argument is that that's trying to manifest a relationship from a place of not really holding yourself and loving yourself and being able to be there for yourself. So that was something that I learned on my journey too, was that I was attracting all kinds of relationships that maybe were not good for me in the early days, because I was destructive. I did not love myself. I had a lot of energy issues. I was, not looking after myself in the best way possible, and I was hurting, and I was manifesting relationships that were destructive and uncomfortable. So then when I started to realize, like, I'm calling these experiences into my life somehow. I'm not taking responsibility for their bad behavior or abusive behavior, but, I'm not going to be like, that was my fault, I'm not taking that on. But I am taking on that I attracted those kind of relationships into my life, and I thought I was attracted to them at some point. Maybe I fantasized about what they were instead of who they really were, like wanting them to be more or better than they are. But yeah, it was hard hitting and uncomfortable. And I think one of my biggest wake up calls was like the worst relationship ever, and me going like, that is enough. Enough is enough. I am not repeating those patterns again. And I really did sort myself out, and I really did change my life and my emotional patterns. And I actually remained celibate for, I think in total 5 years, with one or two small relationships, like 2 small relationships in that whole time. And I think that, I felt like, okay, I'm proud of who I am. I have self-love and self-worth, and I would like to have a relationship. And it didn't really happen because I wasn't, I don't know, but maybe closed on many levels and self-sabotaging myself on many levels to attract the right kind of person. But what I realized was that when I did attract someone, they triggered all sorts of abandonment and longing. And, like, I actually manifested relationships from a place of wanting for someone to save me, hold me, fix me, all that kind of stuff. To fill the gaps in my life that I wasn't filling for myself. So although I'd done a lot of emotional work, I still attracted a few relationships that were not ideal. And yeah, so I was actually going to say all that later on, but it will make sense in a moment. So the question is, what are you attracting? Like, from what energy and what vibration in yourself and landscape within yourself are you attracting relationships into your life? Are you attracting people from excruciating longing? So I did another video about the perpetual toxic longing. And some of that longing is, beyond our lifetimes. There's deep longing in the feminine and the masculine to be met. We've really destroyed quite a lot of co-creation and love and relationship dynamics over the thousands of years. So we're kind of longing for this connection. But so I'm just saying the longing isn't always just ours in this lifetime. We're all longing for this connection that we've lost somewhere. But if you're attracting your future partners from a state of missing something or of wanting to be saved or longing, then I don't think you're going to always attract what you want. You'll attract exactly what you need, in that it will trigger all the longing and the abandonment and all that kind of thing. But, maybe there's another way. Maybe work with your longing and being able to love and hold yourself first. That's the key, I think. Another point is, are you attracting from fear? Like, I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to be treated badly again. That can never happen again. So that kind of, your body is, in a way, maybe going to sabotage you gaining the healthy love you really want, by acting out in fear and pushing away what is good for you, because love equals pain, or love equals loss, or love equals abandonment. So the body's like, oh, we don't want love. So you might be like, I really want love and I really would like to be met in a relationship and I'm ready. But your body's like, no way. So all sorts of weird stuff happens, or you might attract all the wrong kind of people again. So it's really worth looking into your stories around, your beliefs and stories around love and longing. If this is like making sense or interesting, please let me know. Ask me questions if you like. I have got the comments up. Another one is, are you attracting future partners from safety? So you're trying to keep safe. So you know you want to have relationships, but really you're afraid of them. So you're being attracted to unavailable people, or people behind counters, for example, like waiters. You're like, oh, he's nice, because they're very safe. They have to be nice to you. They're like behind a barrier. Are you attracted to people that are too young? You know it would never work. Maybe not a match, or the bad boys, bad girls, bad boys, all that kind of the dangerous. So in a way, you're attracting danger and lack of connection, because it makes you feel safer, because love is dangerous. So that's what heart retrieval work that I've created over time is, looking at all of these beliefs and structures that we build up within ourselves. And because it's kinesiology, we're asking your body for exactly the statement that your body believes, or exactly the words that trigger fear in the body, so that we can really pinpoint how to manifest the kind of relationships you want for yourself. And that starts with a relationship to yourself. Because if you have felt like, let's say, a relationship doesn't work and you fall apart, you knew it wasn't any good anyway, but you feel excruciating pain, longing, loss, emptiness, void, pain, suffering, just majorly triggered, nervous system, complete mayhem, then that means there's a lot of stuff within you that needs to be looked at, if you so wish, if you wish to go down that road. But I think for me, it was always fascinating, even though maybe I was in pain or suffering, I was still like fascinated about what's happening in my system and why. So yeah, I think heart retrieval is amazing in that you are becoming seriously intimate and curious about the secrets of your heart and how you have related to others in the past. And that often comes right back down to very core relationships, like what you saw of love and relationships in your childhood, or wounding and pain and grief that happened in breakups. All sorts of situations come up, and it's so interesting. So let me just see where I'm at now. Okay, so the questions I want to ask you are, what beliefs do you hold around love and relationships? Is your body sabotaging you to keep you safe? What are you actually calling in? Do you know? So that's kind of thing kinesiology can help you figure out what it is you're actually attracting and why. And it could be all sorts of weird reasons why. It could be ancestral, could be past life, could be entities, who knows. But it could be just mind loops and society stuff you've picked up. We can also ask, are you actually willing to have a relationship? Are you able to have a relationship? Are you ready to have a relationship? And these are all, if you ask the body that, you get a yes and a no. So it becomes very interesting to find out what's happening there. And can you recognize what is good for you? So this is a big one, because the most beautiful, sweetest, beautiful relationship that you could ever imagine might just walk right past you, because you're like, oh, not dangerous, not unavailable, too safe, all that kind of thing. If your system is trying to block or protect you from love, then you might not even be able to recognize or see the perfect person or relating opportunities. You might not even be able to see them. So that's another thing with the heart retrieval and kinesiology, is that we can check that there isn't something blocking that. And then we can also place filters in the energy field so that you are able to see only that which is good for you. So it's powerful and it's interesting. And, the heart retrieval is 2 hours, and we can do quite a bit, definitely around pulling your heart threads back from past relationships and looking at some of the core wounding. But if you want to go deep in all of what I'm talking about right now, then you probably want to do like one of the LEAP packages. This is one-to-one work. It's intense, it's deep, it's epic. And so you can ask me about that whenever. But what's amazing about doing that is that we get real with the love stories and patterns that you create. we find out about the secrets of your heart and what you're really manifesting, and actually start looking at what is actually good for you. So if you don't know what's good for you and you don't know what you want, then it's pretty hard to manifest it. So we can really work into those things. And I think from doing now heart retrieval for a couple of years, because it was brand new, now there's enough evidence, or like qualitative evidence, to show that what we're doing in pulling in your heart threads, retrieving your heart threads from wounding. So you have heart threads with exes, partners, friends, people that have hurt you, that kind of thing. There's heart threads that have gone out. And there's also heart threads that have gone out to the wounds sustained in separation or breakups or loss and abandonment. So sometimes, sometimes your heart threads are not stuck to an ex, but just all the drama and the trauma that happened around the breakup or during the relationship. And then that might have been triggered from childhood. So we can go back and start pulling all this in. But what it does create is deep self-reliance, self-resilience, self-acceptance, self-love, self-worth. That is the main thing. And that is the best place to come from when you want to meet an equal and have a balanced relationship. If you can nurture yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself, hold yourself when needed, then you meet someone that can do the same. And it's a very different kind of relationship for sure. It's worth the wait and it's worth the work. And another part of it is really creating. So often it's the body that feels love and home and belonging and tribe and safety. It's the body that feels that. And if the body hasn't been trained to feel it or to recognize it or to allow it in or out, then that's where we have to start working, is getting the felt sense and the body sensations of those states of being learned in the body. So that's another part of heart retrieval too. That's what's going on when we pull our heart threads in. Also, a major part of heart retrieval is aligning your body, your energy, and your heart with what you really want, so that manifesting what you want becomes much easier. When you're clear and you can see, then manifesting is a lot easier, definitely. So I think I've said most of this now. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're operating from fear, longing, wounding, loss and grief and fantasy, then heart retrieval might be a perfect opportunity for you to rewrite how you want to relate in the future and do the deep healing work around your heart and what your heart needs. So do get in touch if you would like, and maybe let me know if you would be interested in a group. So this is one-to-one work, but I could create a heart retrieval workshop over several weeks, and it'd be great to hear if there is interest and if people would like to work in that kind of way with me. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you found it interesting, and I look forward to doing more videos soon. Take care.